When it comes to dash cams for cars, there is a plethora of them out there at many different price points, but dash cams for motorcycles, now that's a different story. A lot fewer of them out there, and less than that are the number which are actually tested and are not junk, the ones that actually do what it says on the box. INNOVV has now been around for many years in the market. I've had their K2 series for a while, moved up to their K5 series, and now I've had their K7 installed on the bike for about a month. In this video, we'll go through everything you would like to know about the K7, from installation, video quality, comparing it to the K5, so at the end of the day you can make your own mind up if it's something you need on your bike or not. But before any of that, this episode is brought to you by Cardo's PackTalk Edge Bluetooth intercom system. The biggest change from the previous K5 model is now where its brain is located. On the K5, the DVR, the part of the system that did all of the processing, all of the thinking, was packaged together with the front camera in a smallish package. Large for a camera, smallish for a DVR. This was because INNOVV wanted to get the best quality out of its 4K sensor, and sending the video signal straight from the camera to the DVR without a 2-meter long cable in the middle would get that result, pretty much like any action camera out there. Your GoPro lens, for example, is part of the DVR. There are no cables in between. This, however, did not work out for INNOVV. For as much as they wanted to be the new GoPro, their video quality was still only dashcam worthy. So they dropped that mission statement, stuck to the dashcam market, and for the K7 went back to their original design of having these bullet-style cameras on the front and the rear. They are both 2K quality now, but that doesn't really mean much, and we'll see why later on. They can record with image stabilization on, however, that is not optical, it's only digital, which means that your final recording will drop down to 1080p instead of 2K. The sensor still records in 2K, but uses that extra resolution to stabilize the video and spit out a full HD image. Just like on the K5, you also get an external microphone for the system. This was a nice addition by INNOVV because you can record engine sound and use that later in your videos. You can record people's voices that might be messing with your bike when you're not there. And if you really wanted to, you could wire it up inside your helmet and just vlog with it. The GPS module also got upgraded, and now it calculates your location 10 times per second for more accurate mapping of your rides, and that one-button remote also makes a comeback. This little remote is very useful for seeing at a glance what the system is doing, with its 3 indicators for Wi-Fi, GPS, and recording, and it's also got a single button on it, which if you press, it will save and protect that video file from being overridden. Both the cameras and the remote are high-quality anodized aluminum and are IP67 water and dust proof, which means you can ride in the rain or wash your bike with no worries about damaging the system. Installation was pretty straightforward, but routing all of those cables properly did take some time. You should plan where everything goes first before you undo a single screw, as this will make everything easier overall. Start with the DVR unit because everything will go from there. On my GS, I could have put it under the seat, which I did, or under the instrument cluster in the front, which I decided against because the source for the yellow wire, the signal wire which turns on the system, was already under my seat with a Hex EasyCan accessory manager. From there, route your rear and front cameras, your remote control, your microphone, and your GPS module. Easy peasy. INNOVV includes a lot of 90-degree brackets, vibration dampers, etc. in the box, so you should maybe give the instruction booklet a read before starting out. For 2K filming during daylight, without a lot of trees or other foliage around, the K7 video quality is just fine. Plain and simple, just fine. It does its job as a dashcam without any problem. I can see what's going on. I can read license plates on other cars without a problem. It's not particularly shaky. Yes, the clouds and the sky are sometimes overexposed, blown up. The colors are cartoonish, but what I care the most about, other cars, the road, and what's happening around me, is captured without a problem. Where there is a problem, however, or where the problems do start, is when there's a lot happening on screen, like riding through a forest, for example. The K7, like all of INNOVV's dashcams so far, use an extremely low amount of bitrate. You can think of bitrate as the actual data that the 2K or 4K video frame gets populated with. And if you're riding through a forest, that sensor really doesn't have the bitrate available to it in order to define leaves, for example, properly. So everything becomes a washed out mess where license plate numbers can't be read out at all, defeating the purpose of the camera. At 2K high bitrate, the K7 uses almost 14 megabits per second of data to fill up your frame, which is just plain very low. As an example, the GoPro records almost 10 times more data at 100 megabits per second. Fair enough, that is a 4K frame, but bitrate matters a lot more than image size. If we go down to 1080p in order to take advantage of the image stabilization on the K7, the image, yes, it's more stabilized, but the quality drops so much that in order to get a proper shot of a license plate, you need to be quite close to the car in front of you. For night mode as well, the exposure of the shot is great. The cars, the road, pedestrians, they can be clearly seen, but because the camera has to do a lot of overexposure together with the fact that it's allergic to high bit rates and that license plates use reflective materials, meant that if I wanted to read a license plate, I would either not have to shine my headlight at it, which is something I cannot control on a bike, or actually be close enough to hit the actual car in front of me. So yeah, the formula is simple. The higher the bitrate, the better quality you're gonna get. 2K, 4K, 6K, they don't really make much of a difference if you're filling those frames with washed out data. You use a nifty piece of software called Dash Viewer, which I really wish was included with the K7. It is paid, but if you just import the entire folder which comes off the K7 SD card, it will show you on a map exactly where you rode, the speed, your distance, the bearing. You can also export all of those map points into a GPX file and plan further rides if you rode somewhere that's interesting, for example. It really is a nice piece of kit and you should give it a try. It doesn't work just for the K7 dashcam, it works for all dashcams that can record GPS as well. From then on, you don't really need to touch the unit again. Everything can be done via the app. Camera, view the camera. Here you can take a look at what the camera is seeing at the moment, what it's doing. We can see top left, GPS is on, parking sensor is on, it's not triggered. And if we tap the front and right button here, we can organize this view in a bunch of different ways. Front and rear, rear and front. It doesn't matter. This is just for whatever it is you're seeing on the screen right now. If we go to settings, this is where all the interesting stuff it's going to be. Wi-Fi name, you can change that. Don't need to. Your password, standard 1 through 8. Frequency 5G or 2.4G, leave that on 5G. Because most of the time you are going to be close to the bike and 5G offers you faster speeds. Its range is less than 2.4, but it is faster. Then camera settings, we've got resolution 2K at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 30 frames with image stabilization, and 1080 at 60 frames. I would leave that on 2K and 30. That's which you're going to get most of your quality bitrate. Very important, leave that on high. No advantages whatsoever by moving it to low or medium. You will get a bit more space on the SD camera, but it's like very little, makes no difference. Image orientation, if you've installed it the other way around, you can digitally mirror it or flip it or invert it. I've put it the right way so it stays at normal. Loop recording, it is a loop recording system, so it will erase itself depending on the size of the SD card that you've got. 3 minutes for each file is my sweet spot. mic volume 2 seems to be too high for the place that I put the mic on, so I'm going to put it on 1. Your mileage might vary here, you have to test it out, but you've got from 1 to 4. That is going to adjust the volume or the gain of the mic, or you can just switch it off. Watermark, you've got date and time, date and off. Speed display, of course, keep that on. Units, GPS is turned on, and your watermark, you can put whatever you want on there. Then under advanced, you've got your parking monitor, very useful if you leave the bike in a public place and somebody moves it or messes around with it or sits on it. You can change the intensity of that sensor with the gravity sensor over here, and it'll start recording if somebody sits on it, and then you've got that footage to watch later. Update time, the time has changed. We've gone to daylight savings now, so I'm not sure if it does that automatically or not. If you go to document, you got your camera files, continuous video, that's what the camera normally records. Parking videos, that's if anything happens when the G sensor triggers. Accident videos, that's when the camera thinks that it's an accident has happened, it'll put all of those files there. Protected video, that's where the files go. If you press the button on the remote, they'll be there, and you won't be able to, or the camera will not record over them when it's continuously looping. So if we go into continuous videos, should load them all up. This is in real time. Yeah, so we've got a video. It's not showing thumbnails. There we go, populating. So let's get this one. This was on the 3rd of November, 131 megabytes. Let's download it. And this is the speed in real time. There we go. That's on Wi-Fi. It is light years faster than the K5 and the K2. It's still slow. This is slow for 100 and something megabytes on Wi-Fi, on 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Don't get me wrong, but it's a hell of a lot faster. The K7 is an honest motorcycle dashcam system with a lot more features than many brands out there, like its GPS, microphone, that nifty one-button remote, and even though it leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to video quality, so do most dashcam systems out there. Unless you're planning to bodge together your own GoPros on the front and the rear, hook them up to a battery, and get them to turn on and off when the bike actually turns on and off, all in the quest for great video quality, this is what we're stuck with. And in this dashcam aquarium, INNOVV still make great products. If you follow this channel, you might have noticed that they are sometimes a channel sponsor. Not for this video, because it would make no sense to sponsor your own video. However, if you are interested in any of their products, just use code LWH on INNOVV.com for a 10% discount on top of whatever special they are running at that moment. The PackTalk Edge has been living on my helmet for years and years now because it makes any ride a lot more enjoyable for me. From its second generation dynamic mesh system, which allows up to 15 riders to connect to the same group in seconds, to its natural voice recognition, which for me just works, so I don't need to faff around with any buttons, to its IP67 waterproof rating, its unique magnetic mount, its great sound by JBL Audio, and the fact that it can seamlessly connect to any other major brand, the PackTalk Edge really is an all-in-one unit for my riding style. Get yours today at cardosystems.com and use code LWH for a special discount on this or any other of Cardo's products. Let us know in the comments below if there are any other details about the K7 that I haven't covered in this video, and I'll make sure to answer you down there. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming one of our Patreons to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.